What is happening, my good people? Greetings. How are you? How's it going? How's everybody doing out there? What is the latest and greatest? Hope everybody's doing well, feeling fantastic and excellent spirits here on the final live stream of February. Haha. It is the 25th. We're just a few days away from March 1st. And yes, that's going to be a prominent focus as we get toward the back end of this live stream. March 1st, another anniversary of the podcast. Yes, I'm going to touch on that later on. As I'm sure you can tell by the headline, the future of the podcast, and that's going to be a part of it. But obviously, we got a lot of sports to get to. We got a lot to get on the surface, on the docket, to get the agenda going. So, I'm going to have that in a matter of moments. Yes, I'm in the second room today, not at the sports desk. Tomorrow for the podcast, I'll be at the sports desk. So you definitely want to tune into that. That will be 11 a.m. Eastern time. Just a quick plug there. And obviously, with the anniversary coming March 1st, we will touch on that later on. But as far as what else is going on, share your thoughts in the chat room. To my regulars, they already know what they have to do. To the usual suspects, the Reels Rockers, who are here each and every Wednesday, and I appreciate them from the bottom of my heart. But if this is your first time, please do not be shy. Leave a comment. If you don't like what it is that I'm saying, if you want to debate, if you want to go back and forth, if you agree, disagree, that's what this live stream is all about. This is your chance to get at me. So just want to put that out there, as well as for those who are watching the replay. As always, you can still leave a comment. Don't feel as if, well, obviously this isn't live. I'm watching this afterwards. Leave a comment. I'll get it, and I'll make sure to follow up, whatever that may be that's on your mind. Good, bad, and different. I got you covered. All right, so let's get right to it. And a little bit over an hour ago, I came out with the post. And I know I haven't posted quite a bit. This is a slow time in the sports world. As I've said a million times over, it's the Sports Dead Zone Part 2. Or really Part 1, excuse me. We're not even into Part 2. Part 2 is in the summertime, which obviously we have just well on down the road. But as we're digging out of a snowstorm here in the Northeast, and things have gotten a little bit slow in these parts, especially when it comes to sports. But one thing's for sure, coming out of the gate, especially tonight as the NHL season resumes, a lot of people are thinking that, and I'm starting with the hockey. I get it's a little bit different, rocking the shirt. Yes, I don't know if you can see that. Make hockey violence again. From the people of I believe it's Violent Gentlemen. That's the website. If you go to violentgentleman.com, you could cop one of these shirts. But with the NHL season resuming tonight, and obviously with everything that took place there on Sunday in Milan between U.S. and Canada, a lot of people think that there may be some momentum, that there could be a little bit of a buildup leading into this final third of the NHL season. And just like I said an hour ago, and I'll expound on it a little bit more, I don't think that's going to be the case. Hockey, as we all know, I don't want to say it's a niche sport, but we know the diehards will be there, the good hockey fan, even the good sports fan. But for those who tuned into that match on Sunday, and I would think a lot of the people who watch that, maybe they're hockey fans, but I bet you there's a big majority that aren't. Because the rating that came through yesterday, and this is without the streaming, Peacock, etc., in the U.S., I believe it was about 18.5 million watched that, and it peaked at 21 million, which was third period and overtime. And you have to think, out of the, let's say the 21 million that watched it, how many of those people are just even casual hockey fans, not even good or great or diehards? So you mean to tell me that after what they saw there Sunday, Jack Hughes scoring a goal in overtime, as we all know, Connor Hellebuck's not going to get a Medal of Freedom. I can talk about that later if you wish, but this to me is not going to be a piggyback of what we saw there. Unless people are following their teams, people are following certain narratives, angles, whatever. And I hate to break it to you, people, the NHL, they may think that, this is going to be a boon. This is going to be a nice little just seamless transition from what happened Sunday to tonight. And yeah, you may have a couple of good games on the docket. Leafs and Lightning are one, considering that the Leafs are literally fighting for their playoff lives, and the Lightning have the best record, or really the most points in the conference. So if I'm automatically going to think that, I'm going to tune into Leafs Lightning, now I will, or at least I'll be in and out of it. Am I going to watch every face-off? Am I going to watch every second? No, probably not. But all I know is that, yeah, I'm going to tune in to see what's going to happen there. But for the fan that didn't wake up at 8:15 or before 8:15, or the fan that didn't watch every second of Sunday's USA-Canada match, I don't think that the person who just parachuted in second period, third period, even overtime, and overtime was a blink when you think about it, are they going to be watching Leafs Lightning on TNT? Are they going to watch Edmonton and Anaheim? Are they going to watch any of these games that are going to take place not only tonight, but tomorrow and into the weekend? I think not. Sorry. Tell me otherwise. I know the comments are starting to flood there. I'll get to the comments after my little soliloquy here when it comes to the NHL and the gold medal game. I'm not going to see a correlation. I'm sorry. And listen, unless people are going to start posting or writing about it, whether it be, of course, online or social media, etc. But again, unless you're dying of wool. And I know for me, Islanders, Canadians, yes, I'll be wrapped up in that. But to me, the NHL is not going to get enough juice, I think, based on what we saw there over the weekend. And that's it. If you want to debate that, you want to dispute it, please feel free. We'll banter back and forth about it. But we all know when the NHL took its break 3 weeks ago tomorrow, and people were thinking, all right, no hockey for 3 weeks. We know the NHL players are going overseas to play in the Olympics. I'm sure there weren't people then thinking like, well, when the NHL season begins, no matter how good that game is, that could have been even U.S.-Russia. And I don't think it still would have had the legs. Now, we don't know because obviously Russia's not part of the tournament, and that's another story altogether. But I think for those who are hoping or even wishing that the NHL now all of a sudden is going to get catapulted into our consciousness from a day-in, day-out basis, similar to the NFL or college football or maybe even NBA. We know NBA gets lost in the clouds, as I like to say. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm sorry. So that's what I got with the NHL. And yes, they do drop the puck tonight, and we could go through the games if you like to see. I talked about this a little bit on Monday's podcast, but the schedule for tonight, I mentioned Leafs Lightning. You do have Buffalo, New Jersey. Buffalo's trying to get to the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. The Devils, you know, Jack Hughes is going to get an enormous applause upon his return. Then you have Philly, Washington, Seattle, Dallas, Colorado, Utah, Winnipeg, Vancouver. And Connor Hellebuck, remember, he's a U.S. player. People in Vancouver, they're probably going to boo Hellebuck when you think about it. Vegas at L.A. and Edmonton, Anaheim. So that is your schedule for tonight. We'll talk more about the schedule tomorrow on the podcast and into the weekend as far as the NHL goes. But let's see what you got here. Comments. I'm sure we get a lot of hellos, our usual suspects. You already know the drill. Yes, Bio. Greetings. Fishing Angel, of course. Fuqua. It's coming. Sunday will actually be the 8th anniversary of the podcast. Cheers to everybody. This is H2O. And I will have something special to drink on Sunday. Maybe not alcohol, but I'll concoct some sort of juice or who knows. But, yeah, Fuqua, I appreciate that. Of course, Fuqua, Dad's Chips, a.k.a. Tatsuya Umai, a.k.a. Cowboy Bull, a.k.a. Jonathan Sean Cup, a.k.a. Everyday Mets. You already know. J-Rod, my guy. Yes, Val. Like that shirt. Oh, thank you. Yes, I had to get it. I mean, please, for someone who goes back to the late 70s, early 80s when hockey was hockey. And listen, I get it. It's going to evolve. It's somewhat prehistoric when you think about having 2 or 3 tough guys on one team. And please, J-Rod and Fishing Angel, 2 of the greatest tough guys in the history of the league, played in your city there for, what, mid-'80s to the mid-'90s? That being Joe Kosler and the dearly departed Bob Probert, who's one of my all-time favorites. Yes, Val. Sidney Crosby, that's a big one because the Penguins are going to play the Devils tomorrow, and he's going to be out 4 weeks. You have that there? Yeah, Chris Letang, I know he's coming back. I think he had a broken leg, if I'm not mistaken. But Crosby out. That's going to be big as far as the playoff race goes because them and the Islanders are second and third in the division. And whoever gets the 2 seed will host in that opening round. Yes, Trent Williams. I know. Crazy thing is 38. And he's playing left tackle. I mean, the guy's a mountain of a man. But, yeah, what do you do? I mean, he's still good, but he's not getting better. Certainly not getting younger. And, yeah, I don't know. Trent Williams, I don't know. Listen, I guess I'd pay him, but I'm not paying him a fortune. That's for damn sure. All right, Val, keeping tally. I watched it and never watched hockey. That goes to show you, Fuqua. Right, but at the same time, you're the perfect example. And this isn't by any means a knock on you. You don't watch hockey, but you watch that game. And as I mentioned, 21 million people at its peak watched USA Canada. And you're just one. I can imagine how many other millions who did watch, but couldn't tell you who's on the schedule tonight. Or, as I mentioned in my video earlier, they couldn't tell you who Macklin Celebrini is if they walked into their apartment with a San Jose Sharks jersey on. And, of course, you can't read the name in the back. They couldn't even tell you. Well, let's face it. All right, they may know his face a little bit by now, but to the average or even just I won't even say sports fan, if Jack Hughes knocked on your door and wore a Devils jersey, you wouldn't even know who Jack Hughes is. Or if he had 2 other brothers that play in the league and one of them's on his team. And that proves my point. And Fuqua, I get it. You never watched hockey until or never followed it, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Hockey's not your sport. But this is what I mean. I don't think the NHL is going to get any traction over this. Not from the regular sports fan, casual sports fan. Now, kooks like you and I are going to follow, but not going to be the case. Have you seen the price of hockey gear nowadays, DC6? Can I tell you something, J-Ron? That's funny you bring that up. Now, is that right, a hockey stick? Now, here's the crazy thing. This goes to show you how old I am. I'm sure they still make wooden sticks. I know they have the aluminum sticks or aluminum shaft. I remember I played ice hockey in the mid-'80s. And I had all the gear. I had helmet. I had an iTech. I don't even know if iTech, they still make of course, the visor. And I had, of course, the pants, the leg guards, suspenders. I mean, all that. I can't recall off the top of my head how much that costs. If I had to guess, oh, geez. Now, the stick, I used to use a Titan stick. I mean, I don't even know if they still make those sticks, to be honest with you. If they still make wooden sticks in this day and age. I'm sure they do, but. Yeah, all that equipment probably cost me, between stick and the gloves too, of course, all that, we're talking the mid-'80s. Talking 40 years. I guess $500 if you tally it all up. Helmet, all that. Maybe a little bit more than that. And just to think, a stick is $350. I mean, that is just, I can't even wrap my head around that. And yes, if I go to a catalog or if I go online to want to buy hockey equipment, and I loved ice hockey. I love playing it. I played roller hockey, of course. But, yeah, I can't even imagine if I had a son that said, I want to play hockey, and the cost of that, ugh. And he's have to be a teenager. I can't have him as a 5 or 6 year old play peewee because as he gets bigger, he's going to outgrow that stuff. And then that means you got to replenish that equipment. Oh, geez. But that's a good one there, J-Rod. I can't even fathom. Giants 4-0. I couldn't watch it because I don't have the channel, but I'm excited. That's a good start for the Giants. Listen, I don't get wrapped up in spring training or any preseason, as you all know. I ain't watching NHL hockey. I hear you, Fuqua. Nothing wrong with that. I watched a short today talking about today's. Oh, thank you, Val. Much appreciated. Thank you. My wife woke me up for the gold medal game. I was shocked. She got up and watched it. So look at that. So you didn't set an alarm. You didn't. I'm sure you had interest, but it was just like, you wake up, 9 o'clock, the game's on. I hear you. listen, and Fishing Angel, I will watch as many hockey games there is, especially Detroit. That's good. That's a great job by you, Fishing Angel, to be able to get up early and be on top of the gold medal game. Warriors Grizz, 3 likes. Yes, I mean, you posted it. You sent that to me, I think. Didn't you send that to me, Val? Yeah, 4 weeks. Might get released. I wouldn't be surprised. I will not. And yeah, Sharks play. I know Sharks play Edmonton on Saturday. I'm going to see if I watch that game. That's a 4 o'clock game. It's middle of the day, but I would like to see that with McDavid and Celebrini. Oh, going at it, of course. For Igor. Oh, look at that, Penguins. Do I think Trent? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Trent Williams gets released. I mean, look, he's gonna be 38, and he's been injured over the last couple of years. And I understand that he's at 38. He's probably been in a lot of 28-year-old left tackles, but yeah, I don't even know what his cap hit is. And to think the NFL quote unquote season begins 2 weeks from today, free agency, etc. Yeah, I would think the Niners would release him. And that will always be a thing where as you get older, no matter how good you are, you're going to become a cap casualty. I mean, that's all there is to it. And J-Rod, I can't skate a lick. Not happening. Yeah, I actually got, the last time I was on ice skates, I got to shout out my guy John Irving, who I've known over 40 years. He had a season ticket package to the Islanders 3 years ago. I think it was 2022. And because he had a season ticket package, he brought me as a guest to the UBS Arenas, the new arena that the Islanders have now play in. And I got to skate on that ice. Maybe I'll post that on my socials. I think I have a couple of videos. Maybe I'll post that even on my maybe I'll even post it on the channel. But for me, please, I haven't played ice hockey. I got to go back late 80s. Late 80s. Down in Skyrink in Manhattan. I don't even know if Skyrink is still open. But the last time I got on ice skates was 3 years ago. More than 3 years now. So, the novice, I'm going to shout you out right now. The novice. Hockey people's always been a rich person sport equipment. Yeah, no, it definitely is. And it's crazy when you say that too. I know in Canada, a lot of those hockey practices, early mornings, etc. I'm sure you've heard the stories. And a lot of those guys, Western Canada in particular, where they're all live on farms. And obviously they don't have a ton of money, but, you know, it's religion up in Canada. So for those who follow it up there and know that their kid wants to pursue a dream of being in the NHL, they'll do whatever it takes. But you're right. That is similar to like golf and tennis. But hockey is definitely one of those sports that, yeah, with academies. I understand baseball has academies and footballs, but yeah, hockey, that equipment, please, too much. But here's your shout out. And I know it's a day early, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow, whether it be the podcast pregame or the actual podcast. But happy early birthday to the novice. Got to shout him out. And Val saying, what's up? Celebrini. Yes, teammates Will Smith. The future is teal. I like that. A Denver alarm said it, turned off. But look at that. He still woke up in time, which is good. Look at this. The novice. 34 million. Yeah, he's getting released. There's no way. Remember when they tried to bring hockey to New York City? Yeah, I remember they did in Harlem in particular, where they had the what was it called? Woman rink. Yeah, it was hockey in Harlem, but they also had like another name for it. But yeah, I remember that. And in the Bronx too. Yes. I'd be down for that. I mean, listen, I'm not going to go out and buy equipment, not at my age. But if it was a thing where, hey, you just non-contact, They have sticks there, just gets, rent skates. I would do that. But I understand people are going to want to contact, etc. I remember one time, now I never played on a frozen pond. I did on foot, though, in New Jersey, 86, 87. Yeah, I played on a lake, but I wasn't on skates, though. And I know people are going to say, how the hell did you on sneakers on ice? Well, obviously there's no Zamboni. It's not clean. And we just messed around. It wasn't anything that we were playing competitively. It was just we had one net, and we were just shooting at the net. And we didn't even have a puck. We had the old Milik orange balls. So that's what it was. That's my ice hockey, or in this case, ice, but I played on foot. Now, my ice hockey days, Jalen Suggs backlisted as question for Thursday. Jalen Suggs, of course, the Orlando Magic guard. Yeah, I'll pivot to the next topic in a second. When I played ice hockey in the 80s, real quick, when I played, you're not going to believe where I played, number one. Now, I understand I did tell you I played at Sky Rink in Manhattan. And that was, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday nights at midnight. I used to take the subway into Manhattan. But my ice hockey days, I played in South Florida. Sunrise with the aforementioned John Irving. Sunrise, Florida. It had a rink there, which is no longer there. I think it's still up, but it's closed. It's who knows what they're going to turn it to if they haven't knocked it down. And also Lighthouse Point. And I used to play Saturday, 6:30 in the morning, every Saturday. And then Sunday nights, I believe it was like 9:30, 9 to 10:30. Or was it 10 to 11, whatever it was. That's how I used to play my ice hockey. And I loved it. Please, I couldn't get enough of it back then. And hockey, to me, baseball's my first love, as you know. Hockey was 1A. I was all about hockey. Following my teams, etc., everything. And I still follow them, of course, today for what it is that I do, but not as, please. I could have told you everybody on every team's roster. That's how much I was into it at that time. All right, so let me pivot. Enough of the hockey talk. No, I'm boring you with my own personal stuff. But that's how you get to know yours truly a little bit, I guess. But without further ado, latest NBA news. I know for J-Rod, the Pistons, with a loss there against San Antonio, and then have OKC coming into their building tonight, and I talked about it on Monday's podcast. Very interesting stretch for the Pistons as they have OKC tonight. They'll play San Antonio in San Antonio, I believe, next Thursday, and sandwiched in between, they have 2 games with the Cavaliers. So a little bit of a gauntlet for the Pistons who, listen, they're going to have the 1 seed when it's all said and done. Although the Celtics are surging and they've come out of the break, all right, a battered Golden State Warrior team, a Laker team that right now is kind of flailing. Shout out to you, the novice. I know you're a Laker fan. As well as Bio. Can't forget Bio. And then winning last night in Phoenix, and no Jaylen Brown, but I understand they had no Devin Booker or Dylan Brooks as they held the Suns to 81 points. And they'll play in Denver tonight, which is going to be a good game. But to me, the Pistons, I think it's an interesting test because although I think the Pistons could have a long playoff run in front of them, and I get it, they've spanked the Knicks this year, although you got to take that with a grain of salt because what happened last year with the Knicks and Celtics, and I understand Tatum got hurt in game 4 of the conference semis, and something's happening with my eye here. So forgive me for those watching. The Celtics swept the Knicks 4-0, and what happened in the playoffs? Granted that the Celtics outshot themselves, or you say shot themselves out of the game 1 and 2 in that series, where if they would have won those games, they would have won in 5. I got something in my eye, people. Sorry. And obviously, I don't know what the hell is going on, so my apologies as I'm spazzing here a little bit. Probably shouldn't have used that word, but you understand where I'm coming from. My apologies for those who watch, but I don't know. The Pistons, it's going to be interesting once they get to April because when you have a 1 seed And it's their first time as a 1 seed. And I don't want to make the comparisons. I've said it before with OKC, more so with San Antonio, but you could throw Detroit in that mix too. Because there's going to be some pressure for them to get to, minimum conference final, but even an NBA final. And even if they go up against, let's say, the Celtics, and the Pistons beat the Celtics 3 out of 4 this year. Now, who knows if Jason Tatum is going to be on the team at that time. But there is going to be some pressure on Detroit to get to a final, I think, because you can't have a big regular season where you could probably end up winning anywhere between 58 to 60 games. I don't know if they're going to go 62 and 20. Let's say 56 and 60 games. And fall short of an NBA final. Am I wrong there? And Jay would be the first one to answer that. So let me get to the comments as we discuss. Let's see. A Life in Vegas, welcome. That's a new name. The playing tournament is heating up now. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second with those teams at the bottom. And the Warriors want to stay in 8th because they have 2 chances to get to that into the 8th seed. I know, in the corner of his room with a lamp pointer at it. Yeah, you could see that, A Life in Vegas. Well, listen, this is right now, it's makeshift. I'm not at the sports desk, all right? And I know the shadows because I have my ring light in front of me. So, yes, you do see the lamp. All right. But I got to shoot somewhere. And A Life in Vegas, welcome. And Corn is Detroit's a legit threat. All right. I like that. And as far as the novice, the Pistons only go as far as Kate Cunningham could take them. I think they're missing a piece. And you know what, the novice? I think you're right about that because, listen, Jalen Duren is an excellent player. I think they need that second guy, that second scorer, because we all know that in crunch time, who's going to take that last shot is Kate Cunningham. But if they had another guy, veteran presence, a guy that – now the trade deadline's come and gone, so it's not as if they're going to get that guy, but unless somebody gets released and can sign on with another team, yeah, I think they're missing that one veteran guy that's going to provide enough spark, enough experience to kind of drag them through the fire, especially when they go deep into the playoffs. So that I totally agree with you. Toppers, what's happening? And what's this? I like how you don't like my 2 favorite teams, Yankees, Patriots. Much love. Yeah, not a Yankee fan, and certainly don't root for the Patriots either. But what about the Celtics? That's in between, right? New York, Boston? No. I tease because I'm a Celtic fan, if you haven't picked that up along the way here. Yeah, so I'm going to be fascinated to see how the Pistons – and the regular season, we could talk about them. Now, to me, I think it's important to get the 1 seed. Right now, the Celtics are what? 4 games back? If I pull up the standings real quick. 5 and a loss, 4.5 back. I don't think the Celtics are going to catch them. And not only that, but they already have the tiebreaker, winning 3 out of 4, as I mentioned. But as I scroll up here, yeah, I don't think until you get to the conference semis, that's when the season starts for the Pistons. Because what they do from here on out, even if they get not even just the 1 seed in the East, what if they get home court throughout? Best record in the sport. People are going to look at them as a team that could get to a final. Do I think they can? Yeah. We talked about that last week. I think there are 5 teams that can win the NBA final, and they're one of them. So let's see how to me, it's going to be about all what they do in the playoffs. And, of course, you can say that about every team, but how many times have we seen it throughout all the sports? The teams that have the regular season chops, the Milwaukee Brewers, for instance, in baseball, or we could think back 2 years ago at OKC when they got the 1 seed, and they didn't even make it out of the conference semis. There's a lot of teams that are littered throughout all sports, but to stick to basketball, and Oklahoma City is the example, I'll use them, that just because you have a 1 seed, what about the Celtics? Here's a good example. In 2017, the Celtics were a 1 seed, and they got smoked by the Cavs. They lost in 5 games, and they went to a conference final, but they had the 1 seed, and I believe their record was 54-28 that year. But they weren't really a legitimate 1 seed, and the Cavs were the 2 seed, where the Cavs had injuries. They obviously didn't need the home court, and they destroyed the Celtics. Now, they met up in a conference final the next year. That was Jason Tatum's first year, and they went 7 games, and we all know what happened then. Tatum dunks on LeBron, and then that was 71-67, and then right afterwards, Jeff Green hit, I believe, a big 3. No, I was later on in the game. But anyway, and the Celtics, even though they were 1 seed, but we knew that they were a paper tiger. At least I knew. That was the Isaiah Thomas team, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown's rookie year, that Kelly Olynyk, who had the big game in the series against the Wizards, that Game 7 in the conference semis. So, yeah, but there's a ton of these teams that we could go throughout that have been 1 seeds and haven't gotten out. And how about the Knicks? The 93 Knicks. Best record, I think there was 62-20 that year. Had a 2-0 series lead against the Bulls, including the Starks dunk, which is well-renowned here in New York. And they actually still talk about it to this day, but for what? They lost that series, including the Charles Smith game. In fact, the Charles Smith going up 100 times, getting the ball swatted and blocked. People thought he should have been called for a foul. Game 5, and then the Bulls win Game 6 before going on to play the Suns and beating the Suns in 6 in the NBA Final. So, yeah, just because you're a 1 seed doesn't mean you're automatic. But Detroit, I'm going to be fascinated. And they're going to be a storyline going in. And it's too early to get into storylines as far as the playoffs go. But the Pistons will be certainly under the radar and the watchful eye for the NBA fan to see how far they go. The life just telling me the truth. Yeah. As far as the Pistons, Kate Cunningham, your comment there. No, I agree. And J-Rod, I would take a conference final. Pistons are young as hell. That's right. It's not a lock. And I hear you. Yeah, Kate did not have a good game. And let's see if he bounces back tonight, which would be interesting. Oh, you're a Bulls fan, Toppers. So we could talk about Bulls of the 90s. I'm sure you recall those teams vivid. And listen, I don't know your age, but I believe, I don't want to make you older than you are or not, but, and that's good. Stick by your Bulls. I know they're in a bit of a skid right now. They've lost 5 in a row, I think. The lamb in the corner gives the interrogation room vibe, so that means you're telling the truth. Yes. Oh, that's what you were referring to before? The life just telling the truth. Oh, no. I got you. And listen, one day, people, one day, as I continue this journey, doing what it is that I love, talking sports, having you on board to be a part of this, you know it means the world. But there will be a day, and I know the wife, she's in the next room, she's probably thinking, like, yeah, can it be sooner than later? That, yes, I'll have my own studio in my home. Now, of course, I live in an apartment, but yes, to have a home where I have my own studio, a backdrop, much better setup, more legit setup, not something that I have to put together here on the fly. And as you've seen, I've done podcasts from my car. I've done podcasts outdoors, if you go back that far with me. And it's not that far back. It's 2 summers ago, 2024. So you got to get in where you fit in. And I'm going to talk more about that on Sunday when I have my anniversary live stream, because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. And that Sunday live stream, just real quick, is going to be more of a celebration for you guys, of course, and direction of the podcast, the live stream, the channel, etc. But a lot of that's going to be discussed then. And we can talk sports too. Whatever's happening in sports, obviously we'll touch on, but that's what that podcast is going to be about. Yeah, so yeah, I don't want to make it about me. No, but I want to make it about where we're all going with this. And yes, my goals and aspirations, etc. Because yes, I would love to. I don't want to wish it because I'm working toward it, but would love to and will have that studio experience where you'll get the much better feel, not just a blank wall behind me. Or in a case where I'm at the sports desk and you have the backdrop of the kitchen and you see the refrigerator. It is what it is. I got to work with what I have. And that's all there is to it. So, but yes, thanks to Novice for the lamp. Yay. If it gives that vibe, so be it. But I'm telling the truth. I'm not here to sugarcoat, not here to clickbait, none of this nonsense that you see maybe on other channels that are out there. Porzingis illness out. Yeah. Calm down with Draymond. I know you mentioned that the other day, Val. And listen, Draymond's going to be Draymond. If there's anything you're going to say or do when it comes to his behavior. Pistons go as far as K takes them. K Nets support shooting games. Yeah, and that's the one thing with the playoffs, because when you see a team anywhere between 4 to 7 times and make adjustments and know the strengths and weaknesses, etc., that's where it becomes challenging. Because you're not playing against the Wizards anymore. You're not playing against the Sacramento Kings. You're not playing against the dregs of the league, Utah and the bottom feeders. So therefore, the playoffs become a rigorous and repetitive task to try to outwit, outsmart, and outlast your opponent. And they got their little taste of the playoffs last year, 6 games against the Knicks. But now, obviously, the expectations are higher. So, yes, Bay Area, those are your teams. Warriors, Giants, Sharks. Warriors, Giants, Sharks, Niners. No one's missing a team. I see you, Topper. Can't blame the Knicks for 93. They're playing Michael. Yeah, they certainly were. And he was at the peak of his powers at that time, without question. 45. Speaking of Jordan, winning the 4-5, that was when he came back from the second repeat. All right, Toppers. I won't forget that now. So let me see. You, 45. So you were born. Yeah, so you remember those later Bull teams. The early ones, I'm sure you remember the 91 to 93 and then the 96 to 98. So I'm sure you're well aware. Optimistic, but will it happen? Curl Daraj, okay. Yeah, and I know what you would call it's going to be let go too. Kirk Cousins. Where does he go? That we'll have to see. Does he go to Pittsburgh? Is he a Jet? I can skate. I can't skate, but I can rollerblade. Really, Fishing Angel? I'm trying to think. Yeah, because it's not really the same because the blade is so thin. But all right. Hey, listen, it's funny. I've had rollerblades when I played roller hockey. I had the rollerblades. I love the old style roller skates, the Chicago's. I mean, as a matter of fact, when I played hockey on those, yeah, I burned those suckers to the ground. The wheels and the bearings coming out. You got to stick the bearings back in the wheels. Oh. Hockey does a lot of damage. That sure does. Absolutely. Michigan. Yes. Yeah, I know it was a tough loss the other day to Duke. And I was going to touch on Duke a little bit later on, too, as they won last night. I mean, they killed who did they beat up yesterday? Drawing blanks. Oh, Notre Dame. I mean, destroyed them. And Cameron Boozer. Oh, I hate Duke. I can't stand him. Listen, they're going to be tough. And the one thing we've seen here, I'll get to college basketball in a bit. Yes, Fishing Angel, absolutely. Cool topic. Oh, 81 you were born. So you'll be... Wait, so did your birthday just pass? Because if you're 45, that means your birthday just passed then, right, Toppers? If so, when was your birthday? I'm curious. And happy belated birthday at that. 81. Ooh, if I go back 81 sports, Dodgers won the World Series, beat the Yankees. Islanders beat the North Stars to win a Stanley Cup. Celtics won. What else you had in 81? You had the strike year, of course, in baseball. You had the Niners. That was the 81 season. They played the Super Bowl 82, which was Bengals Niners. Ah, Feb 5. Happy belated, man. That's awesome. Always good. As long as you keep, as I like to say with birthdays, as long as you keep counting, you're good. February 5th, which happened to be the anniversary, the 20th anniversary of the Steelers Super Bowl win in Detroit. Just had to throw that in. Oh, you're welcome, man. Absolutely. No doubt. 81 Sports. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got. So, latest NBA. Yeah, let me go through the standings before I get to the college real quick. And yeah, you're scheduled tonight. Obviously, a double dip is a good one. Oklahoma City, Detroit, Boston, Denver. Let's see if they could go 4-0 on this trip. And then the Celtics, they play Brooklyn Friday, and they had the Sunday NBC game against the Sixers in Boston, where in the opening night of the NBA season, I know VJ Edgecombe had, 34 points against Boston. And he's cooled off considerably since then, but still could be in the running for Rookie of the Year, although Cooper Flag, I'm sure, even though he's hurt right now. But San Antonio, Toronto, that's a good game. Golden State, Memphis, Sacramento, Houston, Cleveland, Milwaukee. And as far as your standings go, in the East, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a battle for, in those top four, Boston now with a 2-game lead. And with New York getting spanked by Cleveland yesterday, now they're tied in the standings. Then you have Toronto, Philly. Philly could be lumped with Orlando, Miami. Then you have the Hawks and Charlotte after that. And then the Bucks. The Bucks, once Giannis is back, this is where, as you mentioned earlier, I believe, Donavis, this is where it's going to get interesting because you would think, and the Bucks have lost 10 in a row. The Bulls have lost 10 in a row. I said 6 in a row. My bad. And sorry about that, they're toppers. The Bucks could be dangerous. Now, I understand he's going to be a one-man band when he comes back, but the Bucks could take one of those 4 spots, or really those final 2 spots. You would think Orlando and Miami are going to be fine. So it's going to be between the Hawks, Charlotte, and the Bucks. And they have 3 games in hand on Charlotte. So that's going to be interesting because, listen, I would like to see, get the Hawks out, keep Charlotte in, and put the Bucks in there. Yeah, I've seen enough of the Hawks. And if it's, let's say, Charlotte at Milwaukee, yeah, you'd have to pick Milwaukee. And then Orlando, Miami. And then you have Miami, Milwaukee. That would actually be pretty good. Although it could be Orlando, Milwaukee. We'll see. Obviously, plenty of time to go. But after that, forget about Bulls, Wizards, Nets. And then in the Western Conference, Spurs have won 9 in a row. And after tonight, they'll be in New York over the weekend. They'll play the Nets tomorrow. And then the Knicks Sunday, which will be an ABC game afternoon. So for those who want to see Victor Wembanyama in New York, there's your chance. Probably more so tomorrow because I'm sure there's plenty of tickets available for the Barclays Center, but MSG, different story. So between the Spurs, and they have 2 games in the loss behind the Thunder for the first seed in the West. Houston, Denver, Minnesota, and the Lakers all separated by a game and a half. Where it's Rockets 3, Denver 4, Minnesota 5, Lakers 6. Suns, 7 seed, 2 games up on the Warriors, who are 3 games up on Portland, who are tied with the Clippers for that last spot. And then you got Memphis, who are 5 games back. And unless the Clippers just start to fall out of it, and even Portland for that matter, and then the Grizzlies or Mavericks make a charge, which I highly unlike, or it's highly unlikely, yeah, you're not going to have a lot of drama there in the West. That's your NBA. Let me see. We got comments. Good one, Bio. Fernando Mania 81. Yeah, and I remember that vividly. Yeah, I remember he came to Shea. I think it was 8-0, 5 shutouts. He came to Shea, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I believe he shut out the Mets. Complete game. Fernando, yes. The dearly departed Fernando Valenzuela. J-Rod, I'm glad you brought that up. You know what? Maybe I should bring that up now. No, you know what? I'm going to bring that up next. As you hear my Kisman in the background. I know, shout out to the wife who's monitoring the dog as she's trying to work. Oh, Hulk Hogan's tights is back? Yeah, I remember that comment. That's a good one. Yeah, I'll get to Scooble in a second there. And I got something that's not going to be too flattering when it comes to that. But, yeah, I talked about Duke a second ago. They're number 1 right now. Blew out Notre Dame last night. I've said this before, and I won't harp on it too much. And I get it. You're going to have some teams that are going to lay in the weeds. But remember 3-4 years ago when it was wide open? I think this year it's not going to be as wide open. I don't think all 4 1 seeds will meet in the Final Four, which is very rare that happens. And I don't think that would happen this year, but you may have a situation where you're going to get at least 2. Now, we got to see how the brackets unfold. Selection Sunday's 2 weeks from this coming Sunday. So I'm just going to say that right now as a receipt, and we'll have to wait and see how that's all going to shake down as far as which teams are going to be in these brackets. You think Duke will probably have a cakewalk, as they usually do, and they'll probably be number 1 in the East. But, yeah, college, I'm pumped up for it. And BYU, after their big win the other day, they got smacked down yesterday at home. AJ DeBansa, one of the top players in college, to go along with the aforementioned Cameron Boozer and Darren Peterson and guys like that. But, yeah, I can't stand Duke. And I hope they go down. I've seen enough Duke winnings for a million lifetimes, and I know Coach K isn't there anymore, but still. All right, here we go. Tarek Skubal. Talented as hell. Back-to-back Cy Young Award wins. He's a beast on the mound. You can't deny it, without a doubt. But I don't like this. He's going to pitch once, and then he's going to leave. And then, oh, yeah, I'll come back for the final if we make it to the final, but I'm just going to be a spectator. Why show up? If you're not part of the team throughout the whole thing, then why even bother? To me, this is a clear case of a pitcher, as I mentioned, talented as all hell. And how could you not like what he's done here over the last 2 years? But you're either in or you're out. Don't show up for one game. And I understand he's not going to pitch. Well, he's going to probably have like 45 pitches, whatever it is. But let's just say he goes in there and he throws 4 innings and it's no-hit ball. And he strikes out 8. So you just tease the USA baseball fan. And then, oh, by the way, if there is a final, he'll come back. And let's just say, for argument's sake, it's 3-2 in the 8th inning. And you may not be trustworthy of your bullpen. And you can look at down your dugout and say, wait a minute, could Tarek Skubal pitch 1 inning for us to capture the World Baseball Classic? And he's like, no, I'm just here to spectate. I mean, come on. And here's the guys I've talked about before. Game 5 against Seattle Mariners last year in the divisional round, how after 99 pitches, he took himself out of the game with a 2-1 lead. And then what happened in the bottom of the 7th? Kyle Finnegan came in and spit it up to where the Mariners tied the game, and we all know they lost in 14 innings. I can't stand it. And to me, this just reeks of him wanting to showcase himself for one game, go all out, and then that's it. I'm putting my feet up until we get to opening day. And a guy who I thought last year, protecting his arm, not going full bore. And yes, I understand once he gets his money, then I really want to see him with the money on the line. And I'm sure he'll deliver, but I don't want to hear that, oh, I gave you everything I got, 6 innings and 99 pitches. I don't want that from my ace stud pitcher who, let's face it, I get it. There's going to be some people that think it's Paul Skeens. I get it. Some people may even say Zach Wheeler. Some people, when healthy, they're going to say Garrett Cole. The best pitcher in baseball right now is Tarek Skubal. There's no ifs, ands, buts, maybes about it. But if you're going to act like this, and people will say, oh, Jay Reels, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know Tarek Skubal. You don't know his body, blah, blah, whatever. I want a horse. Oh, I forgot Garrett Crochet. He's another one. How about him? And I understand he got his money, which is even more justifying my point. That game against the Yankees last year, where he, in the wild card game, 7 2/3, 118 pitches. He said, I'm emptying the tank. I'm going as far as I can. And then they gave the ball for the last inning and a third to Aroldis Chapman. And Skubal, in that playoff last year, in the opening game against the Guardians, went 7 2/3. I think he threw 114 pitches. Make it make sense. Skubal, and I get it, make as much money. I don't have a problem with players getting paid. I really don't. And I understand he doesn't want to blow out his elbow, but come on. That competitive fire, that low. I got to get my team to the next round. You got to drag me off this mound against Seattle. 6 innings? I hate it. It shows you a little bit of his testicular fortitude, just a little bit. But after this year, put it this way, and I hope for you, J-Rod, I really hope this happens to this degree. Tigers make the playoffs. Tigers are in the league championship series. It's a game 5. Whether it's 2-2 or let's say you're down 3-1. If I'm AJ Hinch, I'm putting the ball in his hand. I'm saying, you're going as long as I want you to. None of this 6 innings. None of this, oh, I'm at 100 pitches and it's the top of the 6th. No. You're going until you either start falling apart, until I'm ready to take you out. That's it. End of discussion. I don't want to hear from Skubal, Skip, I can only give you, nope. I don't want to hear it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. J-Rod, I'm sure you have some comments on this. What do we got? Juan, what is happening? All's good here. What's good with you? The novice. All right, here we go. Well, the guy had to go to arbitration to get paid, so he's... Yeah, and I understand. I think they lowball. It was $19 million was the low payment. No, the only reason why he went to arbitration because he's in the arbitration eligible years. The Tigers aren't going to re-sign him. That's number one. And listen, does he deserve $32 million based on his last 2 years? 100%. But I want to see, or even down the stretch of a year. Let's say it's September, just like he was last year against the Guardians. And yeah, are you going to pull yourself out of six innings, or I pitched 7 innings, but I threw 86 pitches? No, not having it. Check down his mind. He's picking the Tigers. Time for the. I know, and I don't know why they haven't done so. And maybe they're working on a deal behind the scenes before spring training. I don't know, but yeah. Oh, is that right? Oh, all right. Condolences go out to John Cooper, who was also the Canada coach for the Canadian team. So, yeah, thoughts, prayers, condolences go out to him. I have a feeling he's going to be the Terrell Owens of the Tigers. Team obliterator. Well, we know T.O. is a guy that he's a me guy, but all about me. I don't know if Skubal is built that way, but I guess he's building himself up in a way where he's being a me guy without being a me guy. Where, he's going to point the finger at him, and where T.O., that's what it was. But no, I feel you. I hear you, Jay. Yeah, I just hate to see that. And I don't want to pick on Scooble. That could be any pitcher, anybody. So we'll see. We'll have to see what's going to happen there. An exhibition season has begun. As you know, I'm not wrapped up in that. I know the Giants 4-0 based on what Val said, but yeah. All right. I got to throw this in there, and this is for laughs. I'm sure you can answer that question for yours truly. I've never got wrapped up in the scouting combine. I've never followed it. Yeah, I mean, I've seen highlights over the years, of course. But you think I'm sitting in front of a TV? And who knows what their ratings are? The ratings are actually probably pretty good, which is scary to think. But you mean to tell me I'm going to sit at home and watch wide receiver drills or 40-yard dashes or guys pumping 225 100 times? I am not. And I don't care what these guys do in shorts in a controlled environment with nobody defending them. It means nothing. Doesn't. You know my old saying, people? If they had it right outside this window, draw the blinds. Why even waste the time? And I know some NFL news. I know with Val bringing up Trent Williams and Kirk Cousins is going to be released, as we know, and a few other things. NFL, they're looking for their relevancy even in the latter part of February. And I only bring it up because I'm sure there are a few people that, yeah, I'm into the combine. Yeah, I'm into seeing 40-yard dashes and who's doing this and that. Yeah. All right. Have at it. God bless you. Not this guy. Can't do it. Cannot. All right, what do we got here? It's the nail on the head. He's being a me guy without saying, yeah, that's it. You already know, Jay. I saw that next. Yeah. One game. I mean, could you imagine if, I won't say Aaron Judge. I mean, it's a little bit too strong, but let's say a position player was very good. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you who's on the roster. But yeah, I'm going to play in 2 of the games, but then I'm going to leave. But when I come back, I'm just going to be on the bench. I mean, how selfish is that? Terrible. WBC. Yes, another early visit, just like they did last year. Because I remember you went to one of those games with your daughter. Wasn't it around Jackie Robinson? And it just happens to fall, again, the dates, April 15th. But I think it was around the same time. And then the Dodgers invade Citi Field late July. As I've stressed before, after the All-Star break, they play at Yankee Stadium, in Philly, and then back to New York. That's going to be a very interesting road trip. Ace Giants Logan Webb, yes. As they'll host the Yankees 4 weeks from today. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. 4 weeks from today, the baseball season. And on Netflix, of all things. The world we live in, it's all about streaming. It's all about... I don't even know what to say. That game's on Netflix. The Yankees at Giants. And I think the Met opening day, which is the next day, Paul Skeens, I think that's on NBC and Peacock, or maybe just Peacock. I don't even know. So you already know. Oh, I'm going to get to that too, Bio. Yeah, I don't even have a graphic for it, but yeah, look at this. I know. It's a shame. It's a shame, Jay. I mean, here's a guy that you obviously are rooting for. He's on your team. It's about the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. And yeah, this the Angels. Artie Moreno, what are you doing? I know a few years ago you were close to selling the team, or at least put the team up for sale, and then you decide to renege and say, nah, I'm not going to sell the team. Why? What are you doing? Based on this poll, I guess they had the fans, and they said that winning isn't in the top 5 of the priorities for the fans. They'll look at more of the stadium experience and I guess the concessions or whatever it is. I mean, so you mean to tell me that you go to the ballpark to not even maybe root for your team, but not root for them to win? Why bother going to the ballpark? That's like going to a movie and saying, "Oh, I'm just here for the movie," and yeah, I'm here for the popcorn. I'm not here for the experience and see whether or not it's good or bad. Yeah, I'm just here for the reclinable seats and the popcorn. What? And that franchise is so lost. I'm sure he'll never admit it. He and the GM, is it still Perry Manasian? They'll never admit it, but they are ruined the day that they did not re-sign Shohei Ohtani. Because think about it. Even if they re-signed them $700 million, and let's say that all of it wasn't deferred. Let's say half of it was deferred. That they would owe Ohtani money from now until the end of time. They'd be making at least the Angels would be relevant. Now, they wouldn't be relevant in July, August, and September, but they still have arguably the best player in the sport. And to think he goes up the freeway, oh my God. How do you live with yourself if you're an Angel fan? How? Please. Yes. 100%. Touch on that right now. I mean, how could you? I am far from an Angel fan, but as I'm literally wrapping my head around this, like how does this happen? And then it's a situation where they keep Mike Trout. Even if they trade him, they're going to get what? Top 60 cents of the dollar? And they should just trade him. I mean, I understand he's got a hefty price tag. The Angels are going to have to eat not a lot of it, but some of it. And what is he, 33 now? He's breaking down in front of our eyes, but still, he'll be reinvigorated. He is literally wasting the rest of his career there in Anaheim. I mean, it's just, you can't make it up. You cannot. And Moreno sell the team. You'll get, I understand you're not successful, but I have to think they're worth what? At least $2 billion? And I don't know how much. Let me see if I can look this up real quick. How much did Artie Moreno pay by the Angels for? I mean, look at this. He bought, after they won a World Series, I might add, in 2002. They're saying here that he approximately bought the team in 2003 for $183 million. And again, you'll get $2 billion. Take your money and go off into the sunset. That's it. It's a disgrace. And here it is. Ready? Angels owner Artie Moreno believes there are several experiences that fans of his team prioritize over on-field results when attending baseball games. Winning is not an Angel fan's top 5 needs at the ballpark. And here's what he says. Number one thing, and there's a quote, number one thing fans want is affordability. All right, I get that. They want affordability, they want safety, and they want a good experience when they come to the ballpark. And then he says, believe it or not, winning is not in their top 5. The reason why people go to the ballpark is to watch them win. Is that right? Am I inaccurate with that statement? That's just like I said about going to the movies. Or you're going to go to a concert. You're going to go see whomever you love in concert. But no, I want to go because I've never been to that arena before. That's the only reason why I'm going. Or I hear their food is great. Come on. Artie Moreno, you're lost. And you know the old saying, if you listen to the fans, you're going to end up sitting with them. And I understand he's the owner, so it's not like he's going anywhere. But, what else did he say here? Moreno claimed that he discovered families are more concerned about ballpark costs than winning. The moms want to be able to afford to bring the kids. And mind you, that stadium is a relic. It's not one of the recent stadiums where, and I'm sure they have built outs. And that's what I hate about this day and age with the, and hate is a strong word, I get it, but the new ballparks, there's always got to be something going on. And I'm going to pick on my ballpark, Citi Field. Not that it's my ballpark, but as a Met fan, there's always something going on every second of the game. You're sitting in your seat. Get the third out. Oh, let's shoot T-shirts into the crowd. Oh, let's have the great subway race on the Jumbotron. Oh, let's do trivia. I get if you're going to do that every other inning or whatever. All right, fine. You do get the crowd involved. But it's every inning. Kiss cam. Hug cam. Where's Mr. Met? Oh, let's shoot T-shirts into the crowd. Oh, let's upgrade these people's seats by answering a couple of questions. Oh, in the outfield, they have a small diamond where they do a home run derby. Oh, behind home plate, they have this. Oh, in the upper tank, they're going to do what? I mean, it's nonstop. I'm there for the game. The experience is the game. It's not everything around it. This is why this Super Bowl is, let me watch what I say here, is a disgrace because it's everything around the Super Bowl, everything leading up to the Super Bowl, the halftime of the Super Bowl, the experience, the NFL fan, etc., the parties, the little setups there where you could throw the football, you could catch the autographs. I get it. It's not about the game anymore. And people say, well, Jay Reels, it's 2026. This is how it is. Yes, but without the game, what do you have? This. And that's why I can't stand it with the, going to Citi Field where the walk-up music and then the first pitch is thrown and then you got the clapping, clap, 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 or the make noise meters. I mean, it's just, oh, man. It's too much. Ruins it for me. And I understand. I'm an old guy. But when I read this, they want to be able to bring their kids, be affordable, they want safety, they want to have a good experience so they get all the entertainment stuff or whatever. The purists, it's just straight winning. I don't care if you're a purist or not. You go to the game because you want to see the team win. Wow. That wasn't rocket science, was it? That wasn't nuclear physics. That wasn't trying to solve a Rubik's Cube on one hand. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? And then, and Marino 79 said he always wanted to win, but openly questioned what's the cost of winning right now. The Angels have not made the playoffs since 2014, have not won a playoff series since 2009. Yeah, and they lost in the ALCS to the Yankees that year. And who did they beat in that first, prior to that? Was it the White Sox? 09. Hold on, let me think. Who were the American League teams that year? I got to think about that. It's going to take me a second. 09. It was Yankees. Yankees played the Twins. He beat the Twins. Who were the division winners that year? Yankees, Twins, Angels, and that fourth team. Because remember, this was before the wild card. It was division series and then LCS. I'm drawing blanks. Who was the other wild card team? 2009. Maybe the Red Sox? No, I don't think it was the Red Sox. I'm sure Bio probably has it up right there. Playoffs. Damn it, why am I drawing blanks? Yeah, the 09, of course, the Yankees won that year. Not that I need to revisit that. Oh, it was the Red Sox. That's right. And I believe they won in 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, they swept them. And Dodgers defeated the Cardinals in the NLDS. And Phillies, Rockies, yeah. Well, that was a brutal postseason. Think about that. Look at this. As I'm looking at this right now, that postseason was terrible. 2009. AL, both the series in the ALDS and NLDS, 3 of the 4 were sweeps. Then the Phillies beat the Rockies in the 1. And understand it was 1-1 going to Colorado. In the ALCS, sorry, Bio, Phillies beat the Dodgers. And, yeah, they split in LA. And then they won the 3 in Philadelphia. And the Phillies killed them in those games. 11-0. All right, game 4 was 5-4 and then 10-4. And the Yankees beat the Angels, I know. A-Rod with big home runs left and right. Yeah, they killed them. And then the World Series, Yankees were up 3-1 after the Phillies won game 1, and then we all know what happened. They won game 6. I was actually in Hawaii when that happened, that game 6. And then I came back. The day I flew back was the day they had the parade. Ugh. All right, here we go. Reese Olson. Reese Olson going down is the only reason Scooble's still a Tiger? Is that right? And then I'm going to put my money this year on Bryce Underwood, Jordan Moss winning the Heisman Trophy. Why not? All right, why not? Second year for Bryce Underwood. Can you place a college football bet right now? I guess you could, right? Or is it too soon? I don't even know. You know me. I'm not a gambling man, so. Bio, Artie Marinos from Tucson, Arizona. My aunts and uncles grew up with him. Oh, is that right? Ah. He did start off well. How long, when did you live in Tucson, Bio? How long? I know for 2 years, but what time frame? Yeah, isn't a baseball guy. Yeah, didn't he make his fortunes in signage, I believe? I think it was. Becoming greedy. Yeah, just like most of them, right? Yeah, it's terrible. And that's the other thing, too, as I just said twice, and I won't repeat it a third time, but here's the thing that just, oh my God, it's even more mind-boggling. He interviews the fans, and they gave him the top 5 priorities. All he has to do is just look up the freeway. Now, I understand Sylvester Ravine's always sold out. They've won 2 World Series back-to-back. Shouldn't that be the bar? Shouldn't that be like, wait a minute, oh, the fans, they want affordability, they want this, they want that. All right, those are valid. But all you got, it's not as if you have to look far to see what a winning team looks like. I can't with him. I just, if I knew my team was going to lose, you're right. I'm not going, period. I mean, listen, Mets, how many losing seasons they had? I go, I understand they lose, but you go, you root for them because you love the team, even if they're bad. Because I got news for you. If the Angels were winning and had good culture, and mind you, their manager, first-time manager, Kurt Suzuki, they signed him to a 1-year deal as if to say, we do not have belief in you, so we're only going to sign you for 1 year. I believe he has an option. But still, if he's 70 and 92 this year, they're going to look to the next guy. I mean, come on. Sell the team. Don't he buy them from Disney at a fraction of the value? Probably. You're probably right on that. Now, yeah, I don't know what that is. I'd have to look into that, the novice, but you may be right. Artie could face 300. Yeah, and that stadium is 1 million years old. So they could put lipstick on a pig all they want. It's not, they need a new stadium. And that stadium, remember, the Rams used to play there. That used to be a multi-purpose stadium. And if you recall, back then, it was weird because when they first opened up the Anaheim Stadium, they had the big A with the halo in left field, and it was open. Then when the Rams moved in, they closed it to occupy football. Then the Rams left, of course, you know, and they knocked it down. They renovated it to where they got the rocks out there. They have don't they have fountains out there as well? And the water coming off the rocks? I mean, oh, jeez. I grew up going to Rams games. Yeah, look at that. As I'm sure you recall, as if it happened last week. And I would think, I don't know when the last time you were there, Bio, but I'm sure it's got to be. I mean, that ballpark was built, what, in the mid-'60s? I mean, that park, that's got to be a dump. Brent. Welcome, my man. J-Rod, I can still buy a good old Sherwood. Wow. That's 6'7", yeah. Sherwood, hey, $25. Now, I got to buy a few of them because obviously you take one shot, it may snap. But yeah. What's 300 may forget? Exactly. And I think he paid, even if it was 300 million, based on what I saw, was 183 and a half. But come on. You're coming out like a fat cat. Why do you think the Seahawks are selling their franchise? Because they know they're going to get out where they're getting is good. And they inherited it from Paul Allen, Mr. Microsoft himself. Karaoke at Citi Field, that could be next. You never know. And they do somewhat of a karaoke. You know what they do in the 8th inning? They do the Piano Man. Billy Joel, I think they do that between the top and bottom of the 8th. And they also do a Sweet Caroline. I know that's a Fenway Park thing. And then I'm missing another thing. They do that, and they do Lazy Mary during the 7th inning stretch, which that's been a staple going back to Shea Stadium after Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I just can't stand the ballpark experience in this day and age. It's just way too much. It's sensory overload. Like, we can't get enough of the game itself. We got to listen to, and it's not their fault, but you got the young people in the ballpark. Hey, welcome to Citi Field, guys. All right. Now we're in section 285, and we're going to give out a row of pepperoni pizza if they can answer this question. Stop. Yeah, you can play a little organ music between. I get that. Whatever, as the team is going back on the field. It doesn't need to be a concert between innings. It doesn't need to be a presentation of something between innings. I got something on this side now. Jeez. They don't need all that. And I want to hear, well, Jay Reels is 2026. I get it. But come on, does it have to be every 5 seconds? Even between pitches at Citi Field, they're putting up some music. Or think about this in an NBA game. NBA game, when the home team has the ball and they're going cross court, they're playing music. All right, on the other side, you hear defense. All right, that's fine, but they're also playing music too sometimes. But every time they dribble up the court, you're hearing hip-hop music in the back. You're hearing whatever music. Anthems. We don't need that. We don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's why, and can I just say this? Now I got a fan. I remember many years ago, and I talked about it when I did my little mini-series when I went to a sports bar in Manhattan called Blondie's to watch the Steeler games. And it was a Steeler bar, and they would put the Steelers sound on. And they played it throughout, even the commercials, whatever. Fast forward, I went to another sports bar in the mid-20 teens. The mid-20 teens now. And they'll have the broadcast on, whatever the game that they're showing. But what did they do? During the commercial break, there was a DJ there, and they're playing music. And it's blasting loud. I can't even speak or think straight. Why? Why are we playing music for a minute and a half? I mean, it's not like everybody's dancing. I don't know. Maybe I'm old and crusty. I just don't. I don't know. Last renovation was probably done by Disney as well. Maybe. Yeah, and I'm sure Mickey Mouse is welcoming everybody into the ballpark because Disneyland is literally what? Not even 5 minutes. I know Bio could answer to that. Disneyland has to be a stone's throw from Anaheim Stadium. Brandon, was something I read not long ago. I'm sure there are cheaper options to what the article. Oh, with the sticks. Yeah. Sorry for subject change. You shout out to the Shamrocks of Beantown. That's the Celtics, of course. Man, they're for real. You know what's funny, Brent? They may have, and I talked about it last week. I don't know. Can the Celtics win the NBA Final? I think they can. I don't think they will, as I said. I don't know. There's something about what they've done here so far, and to get the contributions from the guys that they gotten. But here's the thing that's going to scare me about the Celtics in the playoffs. Will the guys like Neemias Queta, Hugo Gonzalez, Baylor Shireman, listen, we know they're going to key in on Jaylen Brown and Derek White, maybe to a certain extent, Nikola Vucevic. But will those guys perform at the level they're performing now? Sam Hauser. Because the playoffs are a whole different beast. Like I talked about, 4 out of 7 games. Jaylen Brown, not the best guy with the handle. Force him into turnovers. Sam Hauser. Yeah, he could shoot 7 threes against the Brooklyn Nets or against even a good team. I don't want to just pick on the bad teams in the league. Yeah, against Toronto or against the Portland Trailblazers. But am I going to see this in a 7-game series? I understand he's not going to shoot 7 threes or make 7 threes every game in the postseason. But yeah, am I going to see more? Put it this way. Am I going to see more 5 for 11 from threes or 1 for 9? That's the difference. And yes, I hope they play well. I hope they go to a final, and I hope they win. And if JT comes back, who knows? Even bigger and better. But will the supporting cast of that team play as well as they have played throughout the regular season? Because again, they can play well here during the stretch in Golden State, in LA, in Phoenix. Let's see what they do in Denver tonight. And they're going to have their moments to where, wow, look at this Celtic team. When it's game 3 and they're down 2-1 on the road, am I going to see those aforementioned guys stand and deliver? Because that's what it's going to boil down to. Jaylen Brown, even Jason Tatum, if he comes back, it can't be all on them. Peyton Pritchard. Pritchard had a terrible game last night, but there was no Devin Booker or Dylan Brooks on the team. So who was their go-to? I mean, they didn't really have a guy. What, Ryan Dunn? I mean, come on. So we shall see. And I'm not trying to say you're wrong, Brent, because I know you and I, we have our little friendly banter. But, and are they legitimate contenders? I guess you have to look at them that way. They're 38-19. During the NBA preview, I said this team's ceiling, if they got to 45 wins, I'd be shocked. I thought there were more 40 to 42 win team. I thought 42-40. And they've already won 38. J-Rod, if I remember right, I believe the name of the stick that was 350 was Bauer. Oh, is that right? I see you. I see you, DeNavis. We got to talk about that. We definitely got to talk about that. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot we could go with that as far as merch. Let's see. 350. I can't remember the models. I listen, of course, Bauer. I know the skates. CCM. I had a pair of CCM back in the day. I had 2 pair. I had a pair of those. The Bauer. I forgot the name of the make and model. The gloves. I had CCM gloves. CCM trousers. I think I had Bauer shin guards, elbow. I had the old Cooper helmet, the iTech shield. I don't even know if they still make the shields iTech, do they? And it was like iPhone iTech. Oh, man, those were the days. And I had Titan sticks. Oh, man. Bringing me back with the hockey talk here. Yeah, Bauer Hockey. Yep, that is a name brand. Did Artie Moreno just turn? You got to wonder. Is that right, Fuqua? Wow. I'll get to that in a second. I mean, listen, he is, I don't know. In his old age, I guess he's lost. I don't know what else to say. Jonathan, now that game is on regular TV, huh? Wow. Who's doing the game? I know it's not, I'm sure it's not Gary. Maybe Gary Cohen is doing it early on. I know Howie Rose didn't do the radio broadcast the other day of the Mets Yankees at Steinbrenner Field. What is this? Samadin 250? Yeah, I'm not posting that up there. You like, listen, I know, yeah, that, and also I believe you like Nolan McLean too, right? I think you're more Jonah Tong than McLean, if I'm not mistaken. Fishing Angel, I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, got to go to work. I hear you. Totally understand. Get tackled at second base, yeah. Yep, that's when in those early games in September, when they had him there, yep. Remember those games well. As long as they have Trout, they will sell tickets. Yeah, and as long as he's healthy, you're right about that. 100%, the novice. Just announced Devon White, Bill Stillman, stomach will be inducted. Oh, is that right? And Devon White was not good, was a great defensive center fielder. That's good to hear. The city owns the field. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, probably that's the case. Yep. Not 100%. That's 1,000. All right, NT, I see you. 100%. Should move the team to Orlando. See, that's the thing, too. If baseball, now the two destinations that baseball is right now, Montreal and Nashville. Now, we know that the A's are going to go to Las Vegas, I believe, 2028? Yeah, I don't know if they would have a third baseball team in Florida. Now, Tampa, I know they're going to get a new stadium. The Marlins got a new stadium, and I love their stadium, but it's in Little Havana. That should be more downtown. That's where the old Orange Bowl is, or was. It's funny enough, it's crazy that even though I say Little Havana, I don't mind that the stadium is there. It's more closer to downtown because it'd be better off where the arena is now for the Heat. And yeah, if they go to Orlando, I'd be shocked. But I would think it's either going to be Nashville or Montreal because I know the Expos, and that would be music to Brent's ears. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if they go to Orlando. That's the thing. Because, again, baseball is – those markets, Tampa, Miami, they're not great. And Orlando, I don't think it would even be better. Any question of JT messed up the chemistry? No, I know what you mean. asking for a friend. I love it. And even I've seen an interview where Tatum has understood that question because of what they've done. And I think he would blend in nicely. The one thing about Tatum, listen, I don't know him personally, of course, but the one thing about Tatum, he's at least conscious of that. He's not looking at it as like, oh, it's my team. When I come back, blah, blah, blah. If he was more of a me guy in that regard, then I could say like, oh, I don't know if I like this. I think all he wants to do is blend in and pretty much follow the lead of Jaylen Brown. And you can even argue whether or not that is Jaylen Brown's team. Remember, he got drafted there before Tatum. Now, of course, if you're going to, from the surface, would you take Tatum or Brown right now if you're starting a team? I'm sure a lot of people take Tatum. I probably would take Tatum too. But Jaylen Brown, listen, that guy has been unbelievable. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. The guy got the bag. Was the highest paid player in the league after the 2022-2023 season. Signed that 5-year, $304 million extension. And guess what? He hasn't dogged it. He hasn't mailed it in. He hasn't taken games off. I understand he didn't play last night, right knee contusion. All right, you're going to see that. But when the guy plays, he's answered the bell. That's not to say he hasn't had a bad game here and there, but it's not like, oh, geez, Jaylen Brown again? Another 8 for 22 performance? No. Guy's been fantastic. So I don't think there would be a question of that. And I think, again, I think he would just blend in. I don't think he would just try to take over the locker room or be that clubhouse lawyer to be like, oh, hey, guys, it's my team, so you got to make way for me. If you take a snapshot of everything that's happened this season, they're supporting staff for a second. No, they've been tremendous. I cannot argue with you on that, Brent, but you do have to wonder whether or not that supporting cast is going to be able to last in a series, more so second round, whether it's against the Knicks or it could be the Cavs, and then play the Pistons in a conference final. Of course, that we'll have to wait and see. You know what? It's funny you say that, Fuqua. I know that there have been talks about Salt Lake City, Portland even. Now, the one thing that would be an issue, because, right, you do have to have one team East, one team West to even it out. Because right now there are 30 teams in baseball, and then they would have to realign. Now, I don't like the realignment that they've talked about with the local, like, making it Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Red Sox. No. What they should do is have the same leagues, American and National, but an East and a West, 2 8-team divisions, similar to what they had prior to the strike in 94. Because if you remember, there were 26 teams in baseball at that time. Wait, let me double check that thing. No, hold on. Because 93 had the Marlins and the Colorado Rockies. So that was 28. Right. No, so that was 28 teams. But they had 7 in each. And this was 93 now. Before they realigned. Because in 93, they had 7 and 7. 94, they did realign the 3 divisions. And then 95, of course, that's when they had the expansion with the wild card. They should do it that way. And then have it to where the top 3 seeds, I know it's going to be stupid. I guess you'd have to do it this way. You have the top 3 seeds in each East and West, and then wild card. Or maybe the top 2, they'll have the buys, and then the other teams remaining will battle it out for the wild card. But, yeah, I could see if they're going to have a team out West. Now, they would say Nashville, they would put them in a West, whether it be an American League or National League. I know they're more, obviously they're East. But then you look at the AL West, you have 2 teams in the AL West that are in Texas. And Nashville is in the same time zone, Tennessee, as the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros. So, yeah, I don't know if they would do that. Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, I know Salt Lake, obviously, with the Mammoth, and you have the basketball team. They want to put a baseball team there. I could see that. But it'll be interesting. Jaylen Brown showed us. Yeah. No, I had a tremendous game there the other night, and I'm sure you know that LeBron endorsed him for MVP. And if he's going to get King James's vote, If you slice America in half, most MLB teams on the eastern side. Right. No, that's true. A lot of them. I mean, think about just the Northeast alone. the Northeast corridor. You have Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, both New York teams, and Boston. That's 6 right there. And how many teams are in baseball? 30. Do the math. That's 20%. And that's not including the Pirates in Pittsburgh, north of the border, Toronto. So right there, that's 8. And then Cleveland is 2 hours from Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. So you're right. Fuqua, 100%. Val with the wave. Let me see what else I got here. Anything else happening in sports? NFL teams focused on play, not arm length. I don't know. It's for quarterbacks. All right. Yeah, that's it. I mean, sports is quiet, people. And, tomorrow's podcast is going to be just as quiet. Yeah, I'll come up with a couple of things that you may not have heard today. I'll bring up tomorrow, 11 a.m. You already know. But here's the one thing I want to get to before we sign off. And right here, boom. Mark your calendars. Sunday the 1st, which falls on the 8th anniversary of the podcast. If you recall, for those who remember, I did my 7th anniversary last year on a Saturday. It was a 5-hour extravaganza. This year, not so much. I'm working on a guest. Now, the guest, I was trying to get an athlete. Still working on that. But I actually may have an old voice that I've talked about many times here, whether it be live streams, podcasts, etc. I'm trying to see to get him on board. So we shall see. But 1 o'clock, that's the time. We'll just celebrate. We will just reflect, go back, and also look ahead, share all my thoughts about you guys. Thank you guys again, which I always thank you profusely, as you know. And yeah, just chop it up about what's going to happen, the direction, what's going to take place, what I'm doing behind the scenes, what I have been doing more so recently, more so than ever, and also bring up a couple more partnerships that I want to throw into the mix. So, which I know I haven't really put out on any of the podcasts before the audio podcast you hear on Apple or Spotify, but not here on YouTube. So yeah, you definitely want to check that out. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you have tomorrow the podcast pregame. You also have the podcast, as you all know. And then, yeah, I have another wrinkle, but I'll save that for Sunday. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm circling it now, but I want to hit click, but I'm going to wait till Sunday. Got to have a little bit of suspense, people, so. Guest bartender. Oh, that'd be great. Like old times, right, the novice? That'd be awesome. What is this? I think the Knicks are overrated and why they are talked about. Yeah, the Knicks. Yeah, they've really, they've been wildly inconsistent as of late. Remember, they lost 9 of 11, then they won, I believe, 8 in a row. And then now, yeah. Here's the thing about the Knicks. It's all about April, May, and June. It's not about now. So as long as they qualify for the playoffs, let's see what they do then. Because they could be, not that they're going to be, they could be a 1 seed and all the pressure be on them, or they could be an 8 seed and still all the pressure be on them. Because of what happened last year, the firing of Tom Thibodeau, the hiring of Mike Brown, the reinforcements on the bench, the Jordan Clarksons of the world, the Jose Alvarados, guys like that. So we shall see. And then Fuqua, what do you have? 2 football related? Bears to Illinois. Yeah, it's Bears to Indiana, which is a town outside of the city limits. I hate it. Hate it. Just like I hate that the Jets and Giants, I understand they played in Jersey forever, but to know that New York does not have a football team, I mean, unless you want to count the Buffalo Bills, that is a disgrace. Disgrace. And this is why Woody Johnson, he was an idiot because he wanted that West Side project to where right now it's Hudson Yards and they've had nothing but high-rise buildings, and he wanted to put the stadium on the West Side, which let's face it, I understand it would have been a jewel of Manhattan, but it would have been a colossal disaster. Traffic in New York is awful to begin with. Could you imagine on the West Side for the Jets to be playing there 8 times a year? And I get it, they have conventions and a Final Four and concerts, etc. But there is no space for parking. I understand they build a parking lot, but that would be an out-and-out disaster. And where they would have had it was right across the street from the Circle Line and the Intrepid. Forget it. What they should have done was put it out right next to Shea Stadium, which, oh, by the way, they're building a stadium for the New York Football Club, the New York City Football Club of the MLS, which is literally right across the street from Citi Field. They couldn't put a football stadium there. I hate it. And to think the Chicago Bears are going to play in Indiana? Come on. I mean, it's stupid. Oh, hate it. And then the UFL rules? What rules in particular, Fuqua? I'm curious. Now, they got the kickoff, the new kickoff now. They got that from the XFL, which I love. I should say love is strong. I like it. I understand player safety, impact. You're not having players go kamikaze 100 miles down, starting from the 30-yard line, where they start from what? Where's the kickoff? 30, and I guess they're what, the 40, whatever it is. So, yeah, that I like, but, yeah. Yeah, Mike Brown. Yep. I can see that. Lakers have hired. Absolutely. And no offense to Mike Brown. No offense to him, but come on. Let's be real. Lakers have hired former university. Did they really? As advisor? All right. Yeah, he left the college game. He's like, I'm tired of the NILs and the transfer portals. I'm done. And remember, the guy won a championship 6 years ago. Why not? Remember, the New York Football Giants played at Yankee Stadium until 1973. And then they played at Shea Stadium for 2 years before they moved to the Meadowlands, and they built that, Jimmy Hoffa buried in the end zone at the old Meadowlands. Oh, that'd be nice, Westchester. Why not? I think it'd be great, man, if they had a team come back. And I can't even imagine. Now, I was way too young when Now, I remember when the Jets played at Shea. That I remember. I actually went to a couple of games. And, in fact, the last Jet game at Shea Stadium, the Steelers played. And that was Terry Bradshaw's last game. I was 14. No. Yeah, I was 14. It was 83. But I don't remember the Giants playing at Yankee Stadium. Because when they last played 73, I was 4 years old. And, yeah, I wasn't following the NFL then. I was baseball. I became a Met fan during that year. But it really is 72 because I had Lindsey Nelson. But anyway, yeah, I don't recall the Yankees or the Giants playing at Yankee Stadium. So, yeah, it'd be great if they did that. Listen, Donavis, from your lips to the sports god's ears, or really their franchise's ears. Val, thank you as always. Much appreciate you. And I think that's going to do it, people. I think that's going to wrap it up. Yeah. Other than that, pretty much caught up on everything that's happening in sports. I mean, come on. I'm going to get into Brandon Aubrey pushing for a bigger contract offer from the Cowboys. I mean, come on. Now, listen, he deserves it. The guy's got the biggest leg in the sport, but I'm not going to unpack that. So, but with that being said, people, I guess the time has come to land this plane. As always, you know the drill. Tomorrow, 9:45. I know it says 9:30 at the bottom of the screen. 9:45, roughly. I'm sure you already have done so, but just as a reminder, 11 a.m. tomorrow. And, of course, I thank each and every one of you for stopping by. Hopefully you stop by tomorrow. Podcast pregame is right through the phone. No link. But then, obviously, you got to go to the link, which I will put up later today. I have not put that up just yet. But it'll be there for everyone to join tomorrow and participate similar to this, more so on the back end than the front end and throughout the whole live stream, as you know. But, as always, people, much love for your support. Your undying support at that. And whether you do or do not know, in the blood and the DNA, talking sports since birth, you already know. Because as long as I sit in front of this camera and microphone, I promise I'll deliver nothing But passion, fire, energy, fury, my thoughts, opinions, critiques, praise, analysis, feelings on anything and everything that's happening in the world of the diamond, ice, gridiron, hardwood, golf course, racetrack, tennis court, boxing ring, octagon, you name it. From my lips to your ears, from my heart to your soul, from where I am to wherever you are. The J Reels live stream always comes live, correct, direct, and in full effect. I'll get to those comments in a minute. From the South Bronx to South Beach to South Central to South Pacific and all points beyond. Peace, love, and God bless everybody. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. Have a good one. Hopefully I'll see you guys and gals tomorrow. And as always, until next time, on the flip and the final comments here, the novice. They could have put the stadium on the old Yankee Stadium, but yes, why not? That would have been awesome. I'm with you on that. But then you know what's going to happen? Like my friend, as I mentioned earlier, John Irving says best. They have the new Yankee Stadium there, but then what they'll do is in 30 years, they'll go back to the old configuration and put it where it really belongs. Where I could probably see that happening, but then they could take the shell of the Yankee Stadium now, convert that into a football stadium, and there you go. Right, the novice? Case closed. Logan Webb, yes. And I'm sure he'll pitch opening day against the Yanks there 4 weeks from today. And that's your boy, Mac Chapman, I know, third baseman of the Giants. All right, everybody. Until tomorrow, much love as always. Peace, love, and God bless. Until next time, on the flip.